Hello, my name is David Mayo. I work at the California Institute of Technology, and I would like to talk to you for a few minutes about unfunded agreements. So basically, we have the agreements that we normally work with, the sponsored research agreements and subawards that are normally run in and out of the sponsored research office. And we're all pretty familiar with that, or hopefully we are, because that's our job. But we often have other types of agreements. They can be associated with sponsored research agreements or not. They could be independent. For example, we have material transfer agreements, MTAs. Those are designed to send biological or physical materials back and forth and to establish the rights of the parties relative to ownership and improvements and confidentiality, and possibly also hazardous, if the material or chemical or substance is in some way hazardous to human health, you want to notify the other party, the receiving party up front. You can have non-disclosure or confidentiality agreements. They basically mean the same thing, but sometimes they're called CDAs or NDAs, non-disclosure confidentiality. They basically mean somebody is going to share some data and they want the data kept confidential within certain bounds. There's usually a begin date and end date, but it's just the sharing of data. Our sponsored research agreements generally do that up front through a confidentiality clause if there's going to be any data shared. But sometimes we have data shared outside. Maybe there's no research agreement in place, but somebody wants to test out something. So it's basically similar to an MTA, but with no physical material, it's just data. This can also be called a data use agreement, where, again, you're sharing data. You can have visitors agreements, where you have somebody coming in to collaborate, and they're going to be a guest of one of your faculty. They're going to be situated in the lab, working side by side, so often you want it understood that what intellectual property terms are going to be under. Are they signing your institution's patent agreement or patent form? What rights and privileges do they have? Do they have library access? Do they get a key card to get into the lab, or do they have to only be there during regular working hours? Normally that's set out. You can have an MOU. This is the classic unfunded agreement, a Memorandum of Understanding. Most people consider an MOU to be not legally binding. In fact, many times our faculty will make that case once they give us a copy that they've signed of an agreement with another party. The key here, though, is that it doesn't matter what it says at the top of the agreement. It only matters what the agreement itself says, what its content is. And that's what determines what the rights and obligations of the parties are. So if you have something called a Memorandum of Understanding, however, that document has funding mentioned, it's got liability, termination, and all the other things, it could really be a sponsored research agreement. It just doesn't have that at the top. So the label isn't nearly as important as the content. And that's what I wanted to share with you. Thank you.